Hey everybody, what y'all doing? Hope nobody's getting sick with that crud. So here I got Corona Joe over here, right here. Now this is Mitch Adams. This is my side rod, Mitch, and we've decided to set the world on fire today. We come out what time? Pretty early. You were here before me. I didn't get here that early.
I got here about 7.
Yeah. And we're going to fix everything. Go skid some wood. Well, we've been working on. We ain't got nothing skidded yet. We're working on the road. We're getting the mud off of the road.
Fixing
and then
the
what? Excavator solenoid went bad on it. So Parts run. He went up to get a new starter button. Oh, what happened? The freaking starter button on it. It's a push button starter, and you push it down to connect the two wires to the solenoid, and it stuck together, and we finally got it started, and the freaking thing, the starter was still going, so I hurried up, shut it off, and so luckily we did that before we cooked the starter. But then what else? You went to get parts. I went to go get on the Timco and get cutting. I blew a line.
Yeah.
So then we just fixed the line, put a bunch of oil in that, fueled it. So then I says, I was getting hungry, so Mitch said, I already got hot dogs. I said, Mitch, you are the man.
Death dogs.
We like to call him Grizzly Adams, and you can see why, with your cool beard going on, right?
And my last name's Adams. So.
Yeah, his last name's Adams, so he's Grizzly Adams. So you guys all make Mitch welcome, tell him hi, old Grizz. Oh, look at that. Yeah. We got Sheet's Death Dogs.
And I even kept them warm on the defroster.
Oh, man, you are the man. So he already went and got us Death Dogs when he went to Napa, so... Alright, so we're, I guess, back working, Mitch, so I think we're good. Anybody else in your state, if they're shutting you down, look into it being, I told you, necessity, the pulpwood stuff and all that. That's how they got it back turned on here. It's, so necessary supply chain stuff, so try not to panic, and you can get her turned back on. You got a beverage? Yeah, okay. Like I say, I got Diet Pepsi if you want one. But anyway, we're going to eat. We thought, well, you know what? While we're eating, we might have story time. And I said to Mitch, I said, well, while we're telling stories, I said, I got about 3,000 people that like to hear our stupid stories. So, but he's been logging. Tell them how long you've been logging for,
My
Mitch.
first logging job was 1979. Mm-hmm. We logged off the small dairy farm I lived on. Mm-hmm. I worked with my grandfather. We used, it was actually our first diesel tractor. It had a wide front end and some smaller gas farm-haul tractors. Built a road down in to access both hollows of the farm.
Yep.
And logged off some big white oak and red oak. And oddly enough, the white oak at that time, the best market was for barrel staves.
Yeah.
My one uncle, my father's brother, was working. He was running log truck for a sawmill over on the other side of Rural Valley, a little town called Whitesburg.
Yep.
So my first experience logging was dragging drop cables, J hooks, drag chains, whatever. And at 10, I'd already had 3 years of labor on the farm.
Yep.
Even my sisters worked, so they helped cover me doing my milking and my feeding while I was helping doing the logging.
Pretty typical story for most, for most guys in this industry. There's either around the farms and the tractors and farming equipment, or closely related, dads or uncles had excavating businesses, and there was either a combination of logging and farming or excavating, and pretty much all the same lot. That's kind of how I got started. Basically hanging out with my granddad.
Yep.
I was just a little boy, and my dad, of course, was still working when my granddad retired in 1959 from Texaco Oil Refinery, or oil up in Providence, Rhode Island. And a little bit about him. Wilma, W-I-L-M-A, Wilma Tower Cudworth was his name. And he was a wonderful man. Good, and he was a tower of a man. And Gramps, I hung out with him. And it's ironic, a buddy of mine just made a YouTube video, Skidder Kev. You guys go check it out. He did a video just yesterday, I think, of the largest sugar bush, or one of the largest sugar bush operations in Ontario. 50,000 taps they're running. Yeah, you gotta see it. It's awesome. Yeah, it's like a half-hour video. It's freaking awesome. So go watch Skidder Kev. He's on YouTube. Most of you guys who watch me know him anyway. But yeah, it's awesome. So anyway, just quick point. My granddad grew up on a sugar bush in what was the name of the town now? Oh God, it's in the Berkshires. I can't think of it. Smith College is there now. It was then 2 years ago, but I just can't think of the name of it. But whatever, it's in the Berkshire Mountains, and he grew up out of that town. They had a 300-acre farm, and that's what they did then. This was back in like the early 1900s. They sawmilled, they sold cordwood, they cut cordwood for their evaporators. I think they said they would go through, I think he said, if I'm not mistaken, I think he said they had to lay up 60 cords of 4-foot split wood to run their evaporators every spring. That's how much firewood they'd burn just evaporating the sugar down. And you guys probably know it takes like 40 gallons to make a gallon of syrup. I think the ratio is. Depends on what the sugar content is, but it's pretty amazing. Yep. But anyway, yeah, my granddad, I hung out with him, and so he was retired. My dad was still working in the city, and my dad and my mom's dad, they went in on the farm that I grew up on, where my brother lives now, and it was nothing much more than a camp, an old house with the curtains blowing in the wind. And like I said, that house was built in 1721.
Wow.
So, old Cape. So they fixed that, and so Gramps did a lot of the work. Well, Dad did a lot of the work. They both worked hard on it, but Gramps would do a lot of the outside work with the tractor and the gardening and stuff, and he would get the wood for the house, and while Dad was working in the city, and then Dad, when he got home, they'd all work on stuff. But same type of deal. I hung out with my granddad. We'd go out and cut firewood, and my grandfather was a stickler, man. He'd clear the brush all out, laurel bushes, juniper bushes, anything he could. He had he'd make himself a big old chopping block. In fact, he'd usually keep the same one. He'd throw it up on the top of the tractor bucket, and just a big old hickory block he had. And he'd keep his axes sharp, and we'd cut the bigger stuff with the chainsaws, and then all the limbs, the brush, he took it right down to nothing. He would take the little sprigs that, like, the leaves would come out on, all those, and he'd roll them all up, chop them up, and he'd throw them in paper bags from the A&P store. And he'd wrap them up and tie a string on them, and that was his fire starter. He'd light the bag and all the little tinder and stuff in it, and then he'd throw his throw his small. He'd take all of the anything that was in his way that was junk or got smashed while he fell a tree. He'd take all the blueberry brush or juniper, laurel, anything like that, anything that got broken, or if we're making a path, he'd gather all that stuff up and cut it up, chop it up into little pieces, and that was his, he'd put his bag of tinder in there, light it, and then throw that stuff in on top of it, and then load her up with logs. So we did that, and my brother-in-law at the time and another fella, Bob Swanson, they logged the farm in 1978, same timeline. Boy, you and me really come up together, I tell you. 500 miles apart, but same stuff, right? And then I got into the business selling them tops. That's how, and I was, at the time, I was 16. I'm a little, how old are you, 50?
50.
Well, I'm 55, so I'm 5 years old. So right around, I got my license, I think, in 1980, or 1981. And I started selling firewood before then. We had an old Dodge, well, what do they call it? Weapons carrier. It was just basically a little Dodge Power Wagon pickup with a metal top on it, and I think it was a 46 or something. It might have been post-war, but it was right around World War II era. We had that with a snowplow. There's little sideboards, and that's what I would go get wood for the house. My dad says, "You cut us a load for the house, you can get a load and sell it." So that's what I did. Started with a little Craftsman chainsaw.
We used to use the hay wagons. We would take them out wherever we'd taken down trees, or Grandpa had taken some logs out, and we would cut them in sections just big enough we could lay them all up on the bed of the wagon.
Yep.
We would pull the wagon right down into the bottom yard. There's an old stone wall, and I would, as they would cut it, I would stack all the rounds
Yep.
up against that stone wall.
Yep.
We had a 36-inch coal and wood furnace.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather was a lifelong miner. He worked for the township, had a small dairy farm, raised 10 children, plus he drove school bus part-time.
Busy man.
He was a busy man. If I split all the firewood, busted all the coal down in the nut coal, kept it in the basement, and burned and took out the garbage all week, I would get 2 dimes.
Let me ask you, did he lay around waiting for the welfare check?
My grandfather did not believe in welfare or handout at any time.
Most folks didn't. And that don't mean, hey, if
No.
there's somebody needs help, but we're not, I'm not.
Somebody needed
But most
help.
people, if somebody needed help, that's a biblical thing,
Yep.
The Bible
Help
tells
those
us
who
to take care of the widows and the children,
Yes, sir.
if a guy, but, somebody who's able-bodied, you better get your ass up and get to work. You know what I mean? That's,
That's how it was.
yeah, man shall eat by the sweat of his brow. But that's what, that's the way what this country believed, Nowadays, I don't know, it seems to me there's a lot of awful, abundant amount of able-bodied, especially young men, flopping around doing not much, and it kind of pisses me off.
Pisses me off a lot.
Ain't nothing worse than a lazy man. I mean,
No.
go make babies and let somebody else take care of them. Smack, smack, smack.
I was 7 years old whenever I moved to the farm, or my family did, and they put me in the hay mow.
Yeah.
And I told my grandfather, I said, Grandpa, I said, I can't pick these hay bales up. He looked at me and smiled. He said, roll 'em, boy, you'll be able to pick them up next year.
Yep.
And he was right.
Yeah. Sounds like how we come up. Yeah.
We set the bar pretty high. It was unthinkable to disappoint the man. He was a good man.
Yeah. Same with my grandpa and my dad. We grew up, we had a good, it wasn't always easy. We weren't like dirt poor or anything. We were probably middle class because dad had a good job. He worked his ass off. But we didn't live like we had anything. I mean, they'd take us on a nice journey once a year. We'd go maybe, I remember when Disney World opened, they took us down there for 4 or 5 days in 1971 or 2, whatever it was. And we'd always go see my cousins in the summer for a week or go camp and do something nice, But other than that, it was work on the farm, work on the old homestead, and we had big gardens. And boy, I'll tell you, my folks always instilled in us that you got your work done first and then you could go mess around. You could have fun. But we had fun growing up. Where we were as rural. We had a lot of fun. We was always out playing bicycles, and when it got a little older, we had motorcycles and go-karts, and oh boy.
I like the red onions better than the diced onions.
Boy, them is
too.
good. Yeah, them good.
Yeah, we did a real good job, and we got our hay baled, got our barn work done, got our milking done and everything. They would load us all up in the back of the farm truck, and we would go down to a small trout creek, and they would let us swim till dark, and on the way back home, somebody else would swing around the store and get a couple gallons of ice cream.
Oh yeah. No.
And we had no problem sleeping at night.
No. I know. It was fun, wasn't it? I mean, we grew up. I bet you most of the folks watching, we'll go over the comments later on this. Someday, maybe we'll do a live one like this.
Okay.
We'll do a live one. It'd be
Get
fun.
some feedback.
Yeah. You can converse back and forth. But I just thought, we're sitting here kind of warming up. It's chilly. Yesterday, what, 70?
70.
What's it, about 45 today?
Maybe.
Raw, cold. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's chilly. And we're sitting in here with the heat on with a little warm up. And I says, let's go get a sandwich. And Mitch says, I got you covered. I already got death dogs and sheets. Can't beat them. What are they, like $1 a piece or something?
Something like that.
Oh, God, they're good, man.
The price and how fast they can get them for you.
Yeah, they're like a chili dog you got with the little chili sauce and the red onion and cheese. They're freaking good, man. That definitely hit the spot. Thank you, sir. So, but yeah, I thought, hey, let's do a little story time. So we did, and we started telling stories. I said, I got to get this on YouTube. So he said he don't mind being on YouTube. But yeah, without getting into great detail, his daddy-in-law and my friend too, Cowboy, just say a prayer for him and his mom and everything. He wants to keep everything pretty quiet, so we're not going to make a big deal. But we love the man, and he's not doing well with cancer. It's not a good situation, but he's at peace with it, and he's probably one of the toughest SOBs we know.
Pound for pound, one of the toughest men I ever met.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say too much more about that because he wants to keep it quiet. But you know, good Lord knows what's going on, and just we're concerned for his mom.
Yes.
Just pray for Cowboy's mom. That's all you got to do. Say a
Very
good word.
woman.
Think about her because she's, you know, it's going to be hard on her. So how old is she? 80?
83, I believe.
83. So, you know, it's going to be hard on her. So, but anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Just you know, positive thoughts, prayers, whatever. And, just hope everything goes peacefully for him. Let's put it that way, right?
He deserves that much.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So, drink a toast to Jeff, to Cowboy. So, but anyway, on to some of my other foolishness that I like to blab about. But yeah, logging. I mean, Mitch has been logging for years. You've worked all over the country in the gas field too, right?
Yep.
Yep.
For gas fields and
Yep.
about 10 or 12 different service bases scattered across the country for
Yep.
another company,
Yep.
a couple companies.
Yep. Him and
Last count I think was 24 or 26 states.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, you've worked in California.
California, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, the whole eastern seaboard, clear out through Kentucky, Tennessee,
Yep.
western Ohio.
That's pretty accomplished record, you know. He come to me last spring.
Last spring,
He said he was sick of the road all the time, and
living out of a suitcase.
he'd been a logger for many years. You just did logging for what, 12 or 13 years?
10 or 12.
Yeah, he's good at it. And I said, yeah, heck yeah, come on. But right now it's basically just him and me working, and I really enjoy working
It's
with you, brother.
peaceful.
I do. I really
It's
enjoy
peaceful.
working with you, man. He's just
No drama.
no drama.
whining.
He just does his thing. I do my thing, and we do pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean,
Just come to
we're
work and
able to
stay
get
busy.
cranking. We get 3-4 trail load a day, just two of us. So I'm digging that. You know,
Yep.
a lot less complicated. You know,
Yeah.
and
No
get too many
whining,
people
no
in the
complaining.
soup. It just gets too hectic. I can't. I'm looking to de-stress folks. You know, I just. And it's nice with him. We just flow together nicely, and you know, gotta kill ourselves. Just do nice. You know, just get it done. So, but even on working on stuff, it's like we get to
Just stay busy.
yeah, we do good, and he's good. He can do about anything, and he's learning on some of these other machines that he's been on a skidder for years. But you know, some of this, so it's an opportunity for him too. He likes to jump on the dozer and the excavator, get pretty damn
Absolutely.
handy on him. He says, "Hey, look at that thing! That thing's pretty quick." Yeah, no shit.
Yep.
So, well,
It's just peaceful coming to work.
yeah, it is fun time.
Yeah.
That's the thing about out here. You know, we were talking about this with this Corona thing. You know, I've been filling the folks in on that. It's like, it don't make no sense to shut loggers down. This is as close as we've been,
Yeah.
you know, and neither one of us are sick or anything, but I mean, we usually don't even stop for lunch and just grab something while we're running a piece of machinery, but it's like,
Yep.
what's the sense of shutting us down? It don't even make sense. You know, let those who can work, because, boy, there's going to be a lot of hurting people.
There is.
You know, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to try and help out. Like I said on that video the other night, if we can work and throw 100 or 2 in a collection somewhere, and whether it be a good church or a local
Food bank.
you know, food banks, and or just help someone out that you know could use it. You know, people got kids and stuff, and if they're laid up or can't work, you know, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to try and help people. And so, you know, it's hard to do if you ain't got a dime to rub together, but if some of us can work and help out, let's do it. Even if you can't do it monetarily, maybe, you know, go get something for somebody. I heard a story the other day, Mitch. It was out in New Rochelle, New York, where they really quarantined that down because they had a few cases there, a breakout. And some poor guy, they quarantined him for 2 weeks, and he said he was all right with that, you know, and him and his family and everything, because somebody tested positive, and they were quarantined, whatever. And here, don't you know, the poor bastard's hot water heater died on him. So he's got his wife and kids and, you know, whatever at home, and they got no water. So hopefully, I felt like, boy, you know, I'd go out there and put a damn Glad bag over my head or something and go help the guy fix his hot water heater.
Yeah,
you know,
put a mask on.
Yeah, put a mask on. So I'm sure someone did. But there's going to be lots of opportunities like this to help people out, and then people are going to need help. It's terrible, you know. I mean, but the upside of that is, you know, there's a lot of neat things. I heard a cool thing. I think you'd dig this, because if you were like me when you were younger, you probably hit the drive-in.
Oh yeah.
With a good-looking chick. So, but yeah,
used to sneak us in the trunk.
Yeah, well, there you go. You know, we went into the drive-in in Wesley, Rhode Island. I'll never forget. We used to go quite often. I had a Lodestar International 1600, and we'd throw some hay bales up in that and hide our beer up there in the hay. And me and a bunch of boys and their girlfriends, and we'd all go in and if they didn't ride with me, you know, they'd drive in, and then everybody'd pile in the back of the truck with some lawn chairs and some hay bales, and we'd sit there all night drinking beer, watching the movie at the drive-in. That was fun, you know.
We used to hide lawn chairs under a couple hay bales in the back of my friend's pickup truck.
We did the same
We'd
thing.
load
I
the
knew
whole
it.
truck up, back into our parking spot, and a couple people would take their lawn chairs and set them down by the tailgate. And there was always room for a couple where you could sit right up. We used to let the women sit up so they could see and hear a little bit better. They would sit right in the bed of the truck on the hay bales.
We used to take the hay bales and we'd throw 8 or 10 hay bales in there and make like a couch. You know? You'd make a row of them, and then another row we'd just sit there, recline, drink a beer, and watch a movie.
Throw no blanket down, maybe.
I remember us guys back in the movie 10 with Bo Derek. Running down the beach there. I got to keep it fairly family friendly, but you boys know what I'm talking about. Wow. Well, when you're about 18, 19, 20 years old and you see Bo Derek running down the beach.
And the screen's 30 by 40 feet.
Yeah. Well, that was quite enjoyable.
Yes.
Not that I noticed things like that. But yeah. Well, we had a lot of fun doing stuff like that. But we'll have to do this again, man. Good time. We'll do a live version. All right, so we're gonna go try and get something done. But thanks for tuning in, guys. And we'll try and think of some more topics or tell some good logins. We didn't get too many good login stories.
Not really.
That's all right. We'll have to make a part 2.
Okay.
So we'll keep you. You guys leave in the comments if you want to hear more of our stupid stories. Okay. So, all right, ta-ta, y'all. Thanks, Mitch.
Have a nice day. Yes, sir.